Remember in the last video I said the only thing that could possibly get us back into a playoff push now is if we just won like 5 or 6 games in a row. Funny thing happened. Hello and welcome to part 80 of Backing the Boro. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode we have our final 2 games of the season. We're away against my beloved Peterborough United, then at home against Oldham. And ridiculously, that Oldham game could become the most important game in the history of Nuneaton Town Football Club, because this is what the league table looks like. With 2 games to go, we suddenly find ourselves only 3 points outside of the playoff picture. But crucially, the team in 6th place are Oldham, and we have a better goal difference than them. If we win both of our last 2 games, we definitely finish above Oldham. We then just need to hope Bradford don't ruin the party for us. It has been a crazy run of form to get us here. Look at the state of that. I mean, if we hadn't have lost to Exeter in our last game, we'd be almost there. We'd be touching distance. But unfortunately, Exeter are right up there at the top end of the playoffs, and we're just better than us. But we suddenly do find us, well, not suddenly, gradually, we've got ourselves to the point where we've actually got a bit of a chance. And it's all to do with our 2 creative forces in midfield, Ball and Skelton. Now, a 30 assists between them. Skelton up there as the 3rd best player in the division. I haven't tried to extend his loan for another year in a little while. No, they still want him to play with higher quality players. If we're going to keep Andrew Skelton next year, as a minimum, we're going to have to get promoted. That might still not be enough. Who knows? But this is the team we're putting out there for the first of today's 2 games against Posh. If ever I wanted Posh to lose a football match, it is this one. Oh, we've got Nadat in goal. A back 4 of Anderson, who, by the way, in his last appearance, did break the record. If we have a look on his milestones, he is now Nuneaton's all-time record appearance holder with 316 games. Poor old Sir Tom Elliott. Does that make him Sir Joe Anderson? He's only 26 as well. I mean, he could have another 5 or 6 years. He's already been here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is his 8th season. I mean, he's going to be due a testimonial soon, which is awesome. But he could get over 500 appearances for us if he carries on playing regularly into his 30s, which is mad, really. Are we going to outgrow him, though? There's the question. I assumed we would have done by now, but he's still captain and playing week in, week out, 4 divisions higher than he was when we signed him. So we've got Nadat in goal, a back 4 of Anderson, Sawyer, Burns and Mole, with Squire, Bill, Johnson and Skelton in midfield, and then Ball in behind Weaver and Fisher. I'm really quite nervous. All the way through that run of games we were on, because the gap was always so big, and we were closing the gap by such tiny increments. It was like a point here, a point there. But then it got to the point before the Exeter game where we were level on points with 6th place. We still weren't in the playoffs. There's still no point where we have been in the playoffs. If we sneak in, it will be absolutely sneaking in via the back door. The only way we know how. But we were level on points before the Exeter game, and then that ruined it a little bit. But I'm still telling myself all we had to do this year was fight bravely against relegation. This has already been a fantastic season, regardless of where we finish, regardless of what happens in this game or the next game or both of these games. But you can't help but have a little bit of hope with 2 games left and you're only 3 points outside the playoffs, and you've been in the kind of form that we've been in. So, I mean, let's just score 6 goals today and really put the pressure on Oldham and Bradford. Nadat, what's he going to do? Let's have an assist from Nadat. Which is knocking the ball around the back, because why on earth not? If you're wondering why Burns is in the team, Laskowski picked up an injury. I think it was either in the Exeter game or the game before. We weren't the same team without him, which is a bit of a problem. But Weaver's in, and that's the first... Well, I mean, it's the first shot either team have had in the entire game, but it was the first properly good chance of the game as well. And... we go again. We build with Mole. I'm a bag of nerves today. I don't even know if... I mean, I've said this before when we've had promotion pushes. It's so not the right time for us to get a promotion. We're absolutely not ready. But then we said that last year. Weaver puts us 1-0 up on 7 minutes. We said last year about not being ready, and it turns out we kind of were. Because look how this season's gone. And at the back of my mind, I keep thinking... I reckon the Championship is where the money will start to come back into the club, surely, or starts to flow in for the first time. I don't think we have to make it all the way to the Premier League on a shoestring budget using players that we signed in non-league. I think when we hit the Championship, there'll be enough money start to flow in that we'll be able to start behaving like a proper football club. And we kind of need to get there before we go out of business. And we've done all right, keeping the books balanced all the way through so far, but we are in a race against the building debt. So sooner or later we're going to need a new ground as well. So forget any thoughts of it's a little too early to get promoted. We just want to get promoted. We'll go up, and if we end up coming straight back down again, who cares? That's what we were supposed to do this year. But now we've got a dream, and as it stands right now, we'll go into that final game of the season knowing that a win against Oldham gets us into the playoffs, because Bradford aren't yet ahead in their game. Forest have just gone ahead in theirs, so what does that do? Forest are playing Notts County to try and get themselves into the playoffs. That's a massive game over in Nottingham. So Bradford are 2 points behind us as it stands. Oldham 1 point ahead, as are Swindon. Gillingham just 2 points ahead of us. So, I mean, we could finish as high as fourth yet. Weaver! No, it wasn't. It was Fisher. I thought that was Weaver. It was Fisher. And now Posh on the attack. Please don't ruin my day. Mole desperately clears it. It would be sickening if Posh were the team that meant we couldn't get promoted. But it wouldn't be sickening because we're not supposed to get promoted. And I've got to keep telling myself that. I won't allow any disappointment to set in today. I'm disappointed. I'm not disappointed. We weren't supposed to be in with a promotion challenge. And ridiculously, you know, in full backdoor Kev fashion, as it stands right now, we could still, if everything finished like this today, we could still go to Oldham, beat them and end up in the playoffs through the backdooriest of backdoors, because there's just a 3-point gap and we still have a better goal difference than them. Obviously, if Posh score here and we end up losing today, it is all over. But it's with Weaver. Plays the ball over the top to Fisher. He has space to run into, and you would have expected Dan Fisher to do a little bit better with that. He has, as the season's gone on, he has matured into a proper League Two striker. I think he's hovering around 25 goals at this point, so he has figured out how to be a properly dangerous striker at this level. And if we're still in League One next year, Dan Fisher is going to have a cracking season if he's still here. I don't understand why no one's offered us £1 million for him yet. Right, Andrew Skelton missed a penalty in our last episode, and I threatened to never let him take another one. Please, Andrew. Holy smokes. How much longer am I going to let that man take our penalties for? I mean, that could be the moment that costs us a spot in the playoffs, because Oldham have now gone ahead in their game. So we are still within 3 points of Swindon, but it becomes a lot less straightforward if we go and beat Oldham but Swindon don't lose. It falls even further out of our hands, and we're then relying on both Swindon and Forest to do us a favour, as well as us beating a team who were above us in the league, which didn't turn out well for us when we tried to do that against Exeter in the last match. That penalty is going to be so crucial. Right, Skelton's going to come off. He's crumbled. Who on earth is J. Adams Grayson? Is this really the time to be bringing someone into the team I've never heard of? But he finds his way onto the bench. Oh, by the way, oh no, he's not there. We've had a 5-star potential goalkeeper come through the youth team. He's only 16. I will endeavour to show you him. I keep meaning to do another Patreon youth team video. We haven't done one for about 5 or 6 seasons. There will be one soon, and he will absolutely be going to one of my Patreon backers because he's awesome. Right, let's get Skelton off. New Omar can come on for him. Ball can come off, and we're gonna bring on Josh McDonald to play in behind, because Ball's not having a very good game. We've taken off 30 assists this season just there, because both of them haven't really turned up. James Ball's been in brilliant form during this run, but I have no favourites. Let's get Josh McDonald back in and New Omar. They're both top quality players as well. You never know. Oh, goodness me. We've got to grab a goal. Fisher's not playing well at all. We're going to bring on Clinton Reynolds, who I don't think has ever scored a goal for us. Is he really the man to bring on now? Yes, he's the man to bring on now. Come on, Clinton. Make yourself a hero. What's going on in the Swindon game? Swindon. Swindon are drawing with Barnsley at the moment. Okay. We're not going to win, are we? We've got like 2 seconds. If we score here, that would be quite harsh on Posh. Although we've been mugged into a draw here because we've had 4 clear-cut chances to their 2. We feel a little bit hard done by. The dream isn't dead, but it's blooming close now. Just the one change for the Oldham game, then White comes back into the midfield at the expense of Squire Bill. This is the league situation. We're going to need some favours from some teams. The one thing going in our favour is of the 4 of us who can still take that final playoff spot, we have the best goal difference of everybody. So if we finish level on points with anyone, in theory, we get the nod. But we do have 2 teams ahead of us, Swindon and Forest. Swindon are playing... Can't even see them. Swindon are away against Fleetwood, who are rubbish. And Forest are playing QPR, who are mid-table. So we've got the toughest game of anybody. Bradford are lurking behind us as well. But I don't think we really need to be looking behind us when we've got 2 teams above us. And we've got to win. So Bradford really shouldn't be in the equation. Bradford need all 3 of us to lose and them to win for them to have any chance. It's going to be tough. But we've gone through the back door before. We're not against a backdoor entry to a playoff situation. And we also know if we do miss out on it at the very last moment, we've been down that road before as well, and it only makes us stronger. And we come back the next season and do even better. So we're not going to take this as a disappointment, regardless of the outcome today. We've had a very, very, very good season, and we need to follow it up with a very, very, very good pre-season so that we can be... Oh my goodness, Fleetwood are beating Swindon. Oh God. Come on, lads. Let's go and have an early goal. Oldham have already now qualified for the playoffs with that win in the previous match. So that scenario where we could knock them out of the playoffs is gone because we didn't win too. They've scored. Forest are giggling at the moment. Not giggling too much, but they've seen that we're losing and Swindon are losing, and they know that if they grab a goal, they move up into the playoff spots. Obviously, of the 3 of us, Forest are comfortably the bigger club. But we're the most romantic story. Oh, Mole has to do better there. That's problematic. We've got plenty of time to turn this around. But we're not even on the little league table thing on there again. I've got to scroll to find us. That's not good on the last day of the season when you're trying to push for a playoff spot. Come on, lads. I'm feeling the stress at the moment, and I know this is one of those opportunities where I'm supposed to use the in-game shouts and stuff, but I don't use them. I ain't going to start using them now. I'm more likely to mess it up. At least when I don't touch anything like that, we win more often than we don't. So I'd rather not meddle and leave it in the hands of the football manager gods. They know what's best for us, and Oldham are in behind again, and did Nadat just make a worldy save? Anderson gets the tackle in. By the way, I was just doing a little bit of research before the 2 games. I've actually realised Joe Anderson is a real player. He's currently 17 in real life, plays for the Everton under-18s. So I couldn't find a Twitter for him. Don't really think I should be stalking a 17-year-old too much. If anyone knows Joe Anderson, let him know I might have a trophy for him. I've got one for Sir Tom. It's only for... Skelton's just missed another penalty. Why have I still got that man on penalties? We'd be in the playoffs if he wasn't taking the penalties. But yeah, if anyone can put me in touch with Joe Anderson, I will happily get a trophy for him as well and come and present it to him. Just the same way I'm going to be presenting Sir Tom's trophy to him next weekend. If you're getting excited and into this Nuneaton save now, remember we are going to be having a meet-up at the final home game of the season against Blythe on the 28th of April. So if you're watching this video within a few days of it coming out, you've got no plans next weekend, just come down to Nuneaton. It's not going to be a sellout. You can turn up, pay on the door, and come and hang out with us, and we'll watch the match. We'll have a good time. You'll see me present the trophy to Sir Tom, and a great time will be had by all. But let's not focus on that now. We're 1 point outside of the playoffs as we approach half-time. Imagine, just grab a goal right now. Let's go into half-time in the lead and in that playoff position. Anderson tries to cross it, but it hits their defender and makes its way back to Johnson. But Sawyer's in for the tackle, and it's with Ball, who plays it down to Anderson again. Anderson with the cross, and Fisher's there. We've had some chances today. This episode is a frustration because we're creating so many good chances. We've had 3 clear-cut chances in that first half, and we've only scored once. We've missed a penalty. Joe Anderson's looking stressed. Joe, you have nothing to be stressed about, lad. You signed for us in the Conference North. You're on the verge of making your way into the Championship. Please don't be stressed. You should just be delighted that you're living the dream. It's a ridiculous fairy tale that Joe Anderson is being a part of. We all got excited a few years ago with Lee Hartley about how he had the potential to play in every division. Not for me, just throughout the course of his career, he was going to play for every division. There's a chance now with Joe Anderson, age 26, he could genuinely play for us in every division, and not just as a little novelty thing like Sir Tom Elliott will be. Obviously, if we get promoted, Sir Tom Elliott gets a game in the Championship as well, and he'll get the same satisfaction of having played in every division. But Joe Anderson, he's still our first choice left back and our captain, and he's still only 26. He can still get better. We are 2-1 down though, so I'm going to stop singing and dancing about Joe Anderson and acknowledge that we need a 2-goal turnaround. And I mean, the other games are going our way. That's the frustrating thing. None of the 4 of us are winning at the moment, which is insane. All 4 teams bottling it. So as it stands, Swindon make it in through bottling later than everybody else and accumulating that extra point earlier on in the season. Fisher with the cross, and there's no one there to get on the end of it. Oh, I just got a feeling we're going to win another penalty and Skelton's going to miss another one because I haven't changed it. But it doesn't matter now. Sunderland have jumped above us as well at this point. We're down to 10th. I mean, 10th is still the highest league position in our history. It's nothing to be ashamed about, but I can't help being a little bit sad when you get so close. I said I wasn't going to get sad today. This is an achievement. Let's not be sad. But we got so close. I mean, it's not all over yet. We've got some firepower in this team. Obviously, if they score again here with that man over in the middle. Oh, Nadat with the... I mean, it's a beauty. It didn't just hit him. That was a beautiful save from Robbie Nadat, who, I mean, he knows his days are numbered with a 5-star potential keeper coming through our youth team. Nadat's got 1 or 2 seasons tops left with us. You lot thinking 2 more seasons. Thought this might be the last time we see him. Fisher's in, and so many chances. We've given them a lot of chances as well, though, and they've just been more clinical than us. That's why they're already in the playoffs, and we're messing around trying to have a late charge, having never actually been in the playoffs at any point. If we end up sneaking in through a miracle now, a 3-goal turnaround miracle in the last half an hour, we will be mugging Swindon massively through just... I mean, we haven't been there at any point. And that's just mean jumping in and doing it at the last moment on the last day. But that's where all the romance comes from. It just isn't happening now. We've crumbled at the last moment. It was disallowed. There's a glimmer of hope. Right, substitute a clock. I gave up and started looking at my phone, then remembered I was recording a video. Right, McDonald's coming on for Fisher. Skelton, I'm just very disappointed in Skelton. We'll bring Squire Bill on for him. And, I mean, let's have a look at Adams Grayson. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? He might be really, really good. You never know. You never know. Give him his debut in a massive game like this. I mean, Robbie Nadat made his debut at Wembley and he turned out all right. Doesn't ruin a player giving him their debut in a big game. And he might be an absolute superstar that we know we've got a new star man for next year. So there is Adams Grayson. Over to Squire Bill. Ball into Weaver. We've got one back. With 20 minutes to go, it's 3-2. Bradford, inexplicably, are now up into the playoffs because they're the only one of the 4 of us winning their game. We talked before the match how it was just the most unlikely scenario. But as it stands right now, Bradford are going to do a bigger backdoor Kev than backdoor Kev himself. But if we can get 2 goals in the last 20 minutes, it's going to be us. White with the cross. Squire Bill nods down to Weaver, who hits the frame of the goal. And if we'd have equalised with more than 15 minutes left, you have to start believing again. Oh. White with the corner. Floats it over. It's headed clear, but ball's there to collect. I'm desperately trying to remember where I've put my pug mask, because I think if ever there was a time for the pug mask, it would be now. If you don't watch any of my streams or my other series, you don't know what I'm talking about. But at times of great need, we have a lucky pug mask. And if we score again, I might just put the pug mask on to try and grab a winner. And White again floats a free kick in that doesn't find a blue shirt, but we're piling on the pressure at the moment. I just feel like there's an equaliser coming, and it's with Mole, who plays the ball fairly aimlessly forward, and it ends up a goal kick for Oldham. We're getting a lot of highlights at the moment, and I don't care. I will happily watch the entirety of the next 15 minutes without a pause in play. Just don't let the game end. While the game is still going, hope is still there. As soon as the game ends, hope dies. Oh, God. We're giving them some chances. They've now had 5 clear-cut chances today to our 4. So, you know, we're fairly losing at the moment. And they're in behind again. This time Sawyer heads clear, but not far enough. And Oldham are now camped out on the edge of our area the way we were on theirs a minute ago. Are they going to do what we couldn't do and grab a goal that really will kill the game off at this point? And that's exactly what it's done. We had that little glimmer of hope just for a minute. But we're not beating them 5-4. We're just not. And Bradford, Bradford were 9th at the start of play and are going to find themselves in the playoffs. That is a madder story than ours would have been. Psh. Come on, lads, do something remarkable. White with the corner, and his set-piece delivery has been a little bit wayward. Ball to Sawyer, to McDonald. I thought we were going to win a penalty. For a second, I panicked, but then remembered Skelton's been taken off, so it wouldn't have really mattered anyway. We're probably never going to see Andrew Skelton again now. Those 3 penalty misses we've seen in the last 2 episodes have basically been his way of guaranteeing that he doesn't have to come back next year. Perhaps he just didn't want to come back. Perhaps he hates Nuneaton. And he just made sure we didn't get promoted, so there was no way United could send him here. Ball forward to McDonald. It really is going to be last gasp at this point. We need 3 goals in the last 5 minutes. It isn't going to happen, but Anderson floats the crossover and McDonald has one back. We need 2 goals in 5 minutes. Josh McDonald is waddling back to the centre circle with the ball in his hands. Imagine if it happened from here. No one would believe it. It would be a legendary moment in Football Manager YouTube if we managed to turn this around from here. And I know how this game works. We'll get back to 5-4 and Swindon will score a winner in their game. We've got 5 minutes added on. But we've not used it at all. There's 1 second left and we still need 2 goals. It was nice to dream for a little while. We've taken that to the wire, which we were expecting to. We thought I would have felt lucky if we'd have taken it to the wire at the other end and ended up going down. To take it to the wire for getting into the playoffs is still a massive achievement. Bradford make it into the playoffs, and we'll just see if we get any transfer budget at all next year. I think it's unlikely that we will, but we'll just have a little look because you never know. We might have a whole load of cash thrown at us. No, we don't want to go and manage Burnley. Just show me the money. Here we go. Board set initial budgets. So it's another summer of freebies. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.